Welcome to a new e-learning paradigm, a plusmap.ai.
All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving into something you hear about all the time in the news, tariffs. They sound pretty simple on the surface, right? But their effects are super complex and they always create clear winners and losers. So let's break it all down. And yeah, this really gets to the core of why we're talking about this. Tariffs are not just some dry concept you memorize for an exam. Nope, they're a massive political tool. They can totally dominate the news and affect everything from high-stakes diplomacy all the way down to, the price you're going to pay for your next pair of shoes.
So let's really dig into the nitty-gritty. How do these things actually work? Who comes out on top when a tariff gets slapped on? Who gets the short end of the stick? And maybe most importantly, what's the real cost to the economy as a whole?
Okay, first things first. Let's make sure we're all on the same page with a super clear definition. It's actually pretty simple. A tariff, it's just a tax on goods that are imported into a country. Think of it like a cover charge or an entry fee that foreign products have to pay to get in. But why they charge that fee? Well, that's where it all gets really interesting. So why would a government even bother with these taxes? Well, it usually boils down to three big reasons. First, and this is a big one, is to protect their own local industries. Make the foreign stuff more expensive, right? Second, it's a pretty straightforward way for the government to bring in some cash, raise revenue. And third, they can be a bargaining chip, a political lever to pull when they're negotiating with other countries.
Okay, so to really get what a tariff does, we have to see what things look like without one. We need a baseline. So let's imagine a world of pure free trade. No tariffs, no extra taxes. What does that market look like?
All right, check this out. In a no-tariff world, we get to buy stuff at the low world price. For us, the consumers, this is awesome. See that huge blue chunk on the graph? That's what economists call consumer surplus. It's basically all the extra value and savings we get because prices are low and there's lots of stuff to buy. But look at that little green area. That's the producer surplus. That's the benefit for our local companies, and you can see it's pretty small in comparison.
And right there, that's the central conflict, isn't it? What's amazing for us as buyers can be absolutely brutal for local companies. They have to try and compete with these super low world prices. And if it costs them more to make the same product, well, they might not be able to compete at all. They could go out of business.
And this is exactly when you hear governments start talking about stepping in. If a local industry is considered really important, maybe for jobs or even national security, the government might say, hey, we need to protect these guys. And one of the oldest, most common tools in their toolbox, you guessed it, a tariff.
So, what happens when we add that tax? Let's watch how our graph and our entire market is about to change. Everything's going to get shuffled around.
And boom, here it is. The government imposes a tariff, and the price jumps up from the lower world price to this new higher price. You can see the effects immediately. That big blue area of consumer surplus, it just shrank a lot. That's us, the consumers, losing out because we're paying more. But now, look at the green producer surplus. It got bigger. Local companies can now sell at that higher price. So for them, this is great news.
But wait, there's more going on here. Two new shapes have appeared on our graph. First, see that yellow rectangle in the middle? That's brand new revenue for the government. It's the money they collect from the tax on all the goods that are still being imported. And then, you see those two little red triangles? That's something called deadweight loss. This is really important. It represents pure economic waste. These are sales that would have happened if the price was lower, but now because of the tariff, they just don't. It's value that's just gone.
Okay, let's pull all of this together. It's time for a scorecard to see exactly who won, who lost, and what the final tally is for the economy.
This table lays it all out perfectly. Consumers, they lose. Their surplus got way smaller. Domestic producers, they win. Their surplus grew. The government, it wins too, because it's collecting all that new tax money. But, and this is the key takeaway, the economy as a whole has a net loss, and that's because of the deadweight loss. The gains that the producers and the government got, they aren't big enough to cover what the consumers lost. It's a net negative. So let's bring it all home. Why should you care about this? Beyond just passing your AP exam. Because this simple model, it gives you the power to understand a huge ongoing debate that shapes our world. When it all comes down to it, here's the bottom line. Tariffs are always a trade-off. There's no free lunch here. It's a policy choice that deliberately helps one group, the local producers, but it does so at the direct cost of another group, us, the consumers. And on top of that, it creates that deadweight loss, that inefficiency in the market. So the whole political fight over tariffs, it really just boils down to one single question. Is protecting that one industry worth the cost to everybody else?
And you know what? That is the real power of studying economics. Seriously, it's not just about getting a good grade. Once you get a handle on concepts like surplus and deadweight loss, you can actually look at the news, listen to what politicians are saying, and see right through the spin. You can make smarter choices for yourself.
Which leaves us with that huge, fundamental question, the one that economists and politicians are always arguing about. There's no simple, easy answer here. But the cool thing is, now you have the tools to think about it and analyze the trade-offs for yourself.
We hope you're excited for what's next. For more learning materials, please visit aplusmap.ai.